Hey there, I'm Dr. Shauna Dingman from Elevate Women's Health Centre in Sunderland, Ontario, and today I want to talk to you about why you may feel tired all the time, why you might be feeling fuzzy and unfocused, why you might be feeling irritable at the end of the day, or why your child might be feeling a lot of anxiety and depression and just having a hard time coping with the regular events of life. One of the biggest things we're able to learn about now in science is a process called methylation. It's so important. It is the fuel that helps to run our bodies. Methylation is involved in, like I said, hundreds of processes in the body. It's involved in short-term memory, concentration, focus, organizational skills, movement coordination, speech patterns, bowel motility, blood vessel compliance, immune function. It helps you to be able to clear toxins from your body. It helps to bring down inflammation in your body. It helps with immune function and hormonal regulation. So is methylation important? I don't think there's a single system in our body that I didn't list out there. So yes, it is so important. And what we do is we create, through methylation, basically the fuel that runs our body. So I want to show you what's called the bucket theory of methylation, because if you can understand this, you can probably understand a lot of the symptoms you or your child might be having. So think about it this way. If this is methylation, and methylation is the fuel that's dumping into bucket one. So if we look at our body processes belonging to 4 different buckets, your body is so smart, it's always going to know which buckets are the priority, and it's always going to fill the priority buckets first. So if we think of bucket number 1 as just simply being alive. I mean, if you didn't have any fuel to bucket number 1, you would not be able to see me, hear me, you would be dead. Okay, so bucket number 1 involves all the functions in your body that simply help to keep you alive. Bucket number 2, let's call that the growth bucket. And what I mean by that is not simply growing taller or wider in some people's cases, but it's, we have millions of cells every single day that die. They get to the end of their life, they're no longer healthy, they're no longer useful, or something kills them off and we need to replace them. So that's one of the things that sleep does for us. It helps us to grow and create healthy, brand new cells that restore us every single day when we wake up. So I think of buckets number 1 and 2 as your survive buckets, because you have to have those if you're going to have a healthy life. Bucket number 3 is your immune bucket. You need to be able to deal with all the different triggering events that life is going to throw at you, whether it's infection, whether it's trauma, whether it's toxins, whether it's any kind of physical, emotional trauma. All of those things create an immune cell process in your body that we need fuel to this bucket in order for it to work properly. If you see somebody who's chronically getting sick, it might be because bucket number 3 isn't getting enough fuel. The last bucket, it's kind of called the diva bucket. It has to do with your neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine. And if you're someone who's been dealing with any kind of mental health issue, either with you, your spouse, or your child, you probably know those words very well. Those are neurotransmitters that help us to create mood and attitude. They help us to be positive, to be hopeful, and mostly to adapt to the things that life throws at us. So what you want is lots of fuel going into bucket number 1 through the process of methylation. And then from there, we're going to get overflow into bucket number 2. From there, we're going to get lots of overflow into bucket number 3. And from there, lots of overflow into bucket number 4. And if you have healthy methylation processes going on, you should have almost an unlimited supply of fuel by the end of the day, so that all of these buckets are being filled. Now the problem comes with, what happens if we're not methylating properly? What if you've only got half of your capacity to methylate? Or worse than that, what if you've only got a fraction of your capacity to methylate? Think of it like a car. If your tank is only a quarter full, you're not going to get very far. So remember I said your body is so smart, it's always going to fill the priority buckets first. So it's going to deal with bucket number 1 and 2. So let's say instead of having this full amount of fuel going in, we've only got half. So let's erase some of these, okay? Now we've only got half going in. Well, guess what's going to happen into bucket number 2? We're only going to have a fraction going into bucket number 2. Going into bucket number 3, we maybe just have a little bit dumping in. That's when we're getting sick all the time. And going into bucket number 4, you get kind of whatever is left over, which may not be a whole lot. So let's draw it like this. That's why by the end of the day, when you don't have a whole lot of fuel going in and your buckets have been taking fuel through the day, you get to the end of the day, you feel kind of crummy, you feel irritable. It's hard to deal with all the things that are coming at you. Think about dinner time with kids. Do you know what I'm saying here? That's bucket number 4, okay? When you think about teens, they're going through a massive growth and survival process. There's so much going on in their physical body and in their brains as well. They need so much fuel that if they have methylation issues, there is so much less going into bucket number 4. It's no wonder that teens are, even a healthy teen is kind of moody and often morose. They don't make great decisions and they have a hard time adapting to, what adults would consider normal life problems. But if you take a kid that's not methylating properly, you get to hear they're the kids who are cutting, anxious, depressed. There are other factors that can create it, but this is potentially one of the biggest answers. How do you know if you have a methylation issue? The only way we know of right now is to get genetic testing. It's something that we offer in our office, and I think we're one of the only offices in the country that offer this. But we can actually take a look at your methylation genes, and we can tell whether or not there's a methylation issue, and if there is, which genes are involved, and more importantly, how severe is the problem. And once we've figured out, yes, there's a methylation problem, we know where it's happening, we know how it's happening, and we know how severe the problem is, then what we do is we supplement with specially compounded vitamins, minerals, basically the cofactors and enzymes that create all of these processes to begin with. We can supplement with those to basically create a bypass to the problem so that your or your child's body can begin to function more normally again. You can't fix the genes. If the genes are broken, there is nothing we can do to fix the genes, but what we can do is create a bridge to that gap so that you can feel better or your child can enjoy a better quality of life. It's amazing the results that we've been able to get. If you have any questions at all about this, just ask. You can place a comment in the feed below, or you can book a complimentary consultation on our website, which is elevatewomenshealth.ca. And if there's anything that I can do to help you or your child feel better, get healthier, I'd be happy to help. Again, I'm Dr. Shauna Dingman from Elevate Women's Health. Have a great day.